in the end, I'm very glad that you asked that, and I'm very glad that I've been able to use this as a conversation, hopefully help other people out there. What do you think? Too much?
It boosts your body.
It boosts your body. You know what I'm feeling?
Boosted?
I'm feeling that my body is boosted. Hey there, yo folks, I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman, and I got a really interesting note, an email actually, yesterday that really kind of called me out and challenged me in a lot of different ways. It's a kind of a short email, a short note that somebody sent along. Subscriber, I believe they're a subscriber, and normally I respond to those emails directly, just via email, but I felt compelled to respond to this particular note directly in this video. And I asked the individual if it was okay if I shared the note, and they said yes, that's fine. Again, it's something that really, I don't know if calling out is the right phrase, it challenged me in kind of a good way. And I thought I'd talk about that with you guys and how it made me think about the future of my homestead and the future of my YouTube. But first, I do realize that I have not, there's our freezer by the way, I have not tested out our propane tank yet. I just bought, not our propane tank, our turkey fryer. I just went and bought a propane tank, and I need to test this thing out so it's ready for the chicken processing here in a few weeks. Let's give it a shot. Always want to make sure that these things are tested out well in advance of the day of action, because you don't want something to go wrong even a day or two before when you can get it amended. So let me get this tested out here. All right, here we go. Wish me luck with the new turkey fryer. There we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, I didn't turn on the timer. This thing has a timer. It doesn't just go. Now it should work. Yep, it's working all right. Oh, yeah, that's nice and hot. So note to future Sean, this turkey fryer has a timer that you gotta turn on if you want the propane to run. Propane tank is working like a charm. And the turkey fryer. I keep mixing those two terms up. There you go. There you go. So where was I? Okay, so somebody wrote me an email. Wasn't mean, it was fairly polite. But like I was saying, it kind of questioned where I'm at and what I'm doing. So I'll put a screenshot of the email, at least part of the email, up on screen. And again, I asked this person if that was okay, and they gave me the go-ahead. And I don't remember the exact phrasing of the email, but it basically said like, hey Sean, you've been doing your garden, you've been doing your chickens for the past few months. That's all good, but I forget how this person phrased it. It's like you kind of been stagnant for the past few months. You haven't really been doing much. What's next? Where's the progress? Again, I'll put the exact words, the exact phrase of the email And it really got me to thinking. It got me to thinking hard. What am I doing here? I have very specific goals for this homestead, but am I doing everything I can to make those goals a reality? By the way, I realized I just walked past the killing cones here, and there had been several questions that people asked me. Is it okay to slaughter my meat chickens right next to these layers? These are the Kramer girls. We're watching these chickens for the Kramer life. Will this traumatize the egg layers if there's a chicken slaughter going on right here? And the first response to that question is we're actually going to be moving them. They're not going to be under here, just for the plain reason that we need all the space that we can get under this lean-to. So when it does come time to slaughter the meat chickens, I'm going to turn on the light here. When it does come time to slaughter the meat chickens, these guys won't even be here, just by dint of the fact that we need all the space we can get under here. She agrees. The second response to that is I have volunteered on farms before with meat chicken processing on slaughter day. The few times that I've done it, there's always been chickens nearby. Some of them have been other meat birds, and some of them have been layers. It's never been an issue for those chickens. In fact, I remember several times where you'd have to shoo the egg layers away because they were anxious to get at any little bits that fell off the processing table, little gristly bits while you were processing the birds after the slaughter. They were enthusiastic about the slaughter, in other words. They wanted to be a part of it because they wanted to get any little thing they could get that fell from the slaughtering process. So I don't remember any of those chickens being traumatized by the fact that there were other chickens being slaughtered. In fact, they seemed very enthusiastic about it. That being said, that won't be an issue for me. All these guys will be out. They won't be underneath the lean-to. They'll be away. Just because, for the main reason, I need all the space I can get. Now, I do want to get back to my thoughts on that note and how I feel like I've got a good handle on how to respond to it. But before I do, I want to show you guys something pretty cool. One thing that I'm very excited about, it's fall, and there are certain beverages that encapsulate the feeling of fall. One of those beverages is something that I only tried once last year, that Holly makes. And it's incredible. What is this beverage, this fall beverage called, Holly?
Fire cider.
Fire cider.
Fire cider is a mix of herbs and roots and spices, and it's sort of a catch-all thing that is a very traditional folk herbal remedy. And there are lots of different recipes that people use. I kind of go by my friend Ginny McGrother over at Nourished Kitchen. Maybe we can link that up below. I tend to use her recipe as the base, and then I just put extra stuff in there as needed. But it's a really great immune tonic. Can I say that word on YouTube? It's a great thing to stay healthy through this season of fall. It boosts your body.
It boosts your body.
Anyway, it's really spicy. I love to put a couple tablespoons in chicken broth, but we don't have any chicken broth thawed right now. So we're gonna brew up some ginger tea. We're gonna finish making the fire cider, and we will try it.
All right, let's do it.
What fire cider is you take all of this stuff, you put it in a jar, and then you cover it with apple cider vinegar until it's totally submerged. And then you let it set at room temperature for about a month. You shake it daily to keep everything mixed up and integrated. So what we do now is we drain the infused we drain the infused apple cider vinegar.
What have you got going on there?
A little Tennessee moonshine. We drain the infused vinegar and strain it until it's clear, and then you add honey to it. And I'm going to be adding honey from our good friend Billy over at Perma Pastures. Keeps us hooked up with the honey. So we're going to be adding that to the mix, and that's kind of the traditional way to make it. And then once it's mixed, you can keep it in the fridge for I think 6 months to a year or more. So right now we're going to strain and mix with the honey.
I'm going to smell it. Oh boy, yowzers. It's very spicy, but smelling, but it smells good.
And all this will make excellent compost, so we'll dump that into the compost. Garlic too. Gotta have garlic in fire cider.
Yeah, not too much actually.
And you know, a lot of recipes call for upwards of a cup of honey. I just don't like it that sweet, but I do like the benefits that honey brings to the table. So this is maybe 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of honey in here. So we are just gonna let that honey drip down. It might take a little while. We're just gonna empty this honey out into there, and then we'll shake it, shake it, shake it. So while that is dripping, let's make our tea.
All right.
So I've just got some ginger tea. It's just straight up ginger. Like I said, the real way to drink this is in chicken broth, but none is thawed. Got our trusty slowly mug. This is my chicken mug from Tractor Supply. I love it. All right, let's brew this tea. There's still a couple things we gotta do. So we got the honey in to the fire cider. You can see
it at the
it's
bottom.
settled down here. So now we just have to shake, shake, shake.
And so we're gonna shake that and then just add a little bit to the ginger tea. Is that how it's gonna work?
Yeah.
Sweet.
This stuff is intense.
It's
and
fire.
it's fire. So I'm gonna start you out with 1 teaspoon.
I think I should be able to handle more than 1 teaspoon.
You sure?
Well, let me try this first.
Okay, like a little pip got in there, but you can try it. It's hot.
So this is just straight ginger
Don't
tea.
spill
I'm just
it.
doing this to establish a baseline. It's good ginger tea. All right,
2 teaspoons?
2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons. I'm going crazy. Holly was suggesting 1 teaspoon, but I'm going for 2. There's 1. There's 2. Okay, so you mix it in and then I try it.
Well, I'm gonna get some too.
You ready for this? Let's try it. Ooh. Wow. That's very unique tasting.
It needs more.
Okay. It's almost like a broth. It almost tastes like a vegetable stock or like a vegetable broth.
So we're going to 4 now.
4. Mix it up. Can you just drink that stuff straight?
I mean, you could.
So the extra powerful version. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's better.
You know what I'm feeling?
Boosted?
I'm feeling that my body is boosted. It does give you kind of a little buzz.
A little zap.
Yeah, not like an alcoholic buzz, nothing like that, or not even like a coffee buzz, but
It
like
wakes you up.
like a vitamin B shot or something. Like
Hey now.
There's definitely a hit. Like you get something when you're. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's.
I need more.
Yeah, you want to give me a couple more?
Sure. I'm gonna
We'll
try
include a
it
link to the
straight.
recipe below, and you can do what Holly and I did and just add these other things, or you can probably just drink like they do in the recipe. She's gonna try it straight up. What do you think? Too much?
Wow.
It's pretty much just straight vinegar, right?
With jalapenos and garlic and ginger.
Oh, that's good. I would highly recommend that you give this stuff a shot. A cup full of fire cider. Okay, so about the note and the way that I've been thinking about it. When I first read the note, initially my thoughts were, okay, why do you care so much about what I'm doing on my homestead? It seemed a little odd to me. But then I realized I have a public YouTube channel that purports to show our journey into the homesteading world. And as such, a lot of people are going to be very interested in just where we're at in that journey. My thoughts towards the note shifted a little bit when I thought of it in that way. There's a lot of people that watch this channel that have designs to start their own homesteads and their own homesteading journeys. and journeys into self-sufficiency and growing their own food. And naturally, they're very interested in how I'm going about things. And that's the whole point of this channel, is to document that journey. There's different types of YouTube channels. There's how-to channels where most of the videos are showing you how to do things. YouTube University, right? How to build a chicken tractor, when to plant your green beans, how to replace your water heater. This channel is not one of those channels at all. This is more of a vlog style channel with vlog style videos where I'm just documenting our journey, all the good times, all the bad times, all the boring times too. And so that's the point where I landed on, is that there are seasons in this journey on the YouTube channel and in the homestead where the projects that we're doing aren't big, huge projects. I just did the cover crop. That was a big project that I took on these past few weeks. But by the way, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I cut this down. These buckwheats, I'm going to go in here. These buckwheat stalks, I cut them down, and they are going to turn into luscious compost in these beds here soon. If spring comes along and the stalks are still standing, I'm just going to pull them out. I'm going to rip them out. But you get the point, right? Some of the projects that I'm taking on, I'm doing 2 episodes a week. Not every single episode is going to be chock full of crazy hijinks and explosions and somersaults. Sometimes it's just going to be maintenance. And these past few weeks have been maintenance. These past few months have been maintenance. Now we've got the meat chickens, obviously. We've got our layers, obviously, and we've got our garden. But as for the future, where I'm going, I'll be completely honest with you guys, especially with the way things have been shaping up and some fear around, why can't I think of the word? Some fear around supply lines, things like that. Our big goal for the homestead is to be growing 50% of all of the food that we eat within 2 years, maybe 3 years. That's a lofty goal. We might not get there, but that's what we're shooting for. So whether we're growing food in the garden, which, eventually I'd like to make the garden bigger and potentially start growing out some rows of things, of high starch items, things like potatoes and cabbage, stuff that we can store long term and that could get us by any funkiness in the grocery supply lines. 50% of our own food. There's the garden stuff, the potential rows that will grow, and then chickens, and eventually within a year or 2, pigs. Pigs are the next big meat animal that we want to get into, and that'll probably be next year that we do that. Eventually I'd like to get into sheep, lamb, things like that. Maybe goats. I've tried eating goat once and I didn't like it. Maybe it was how it was prepared. And I'm sure there's going to be people out there watching this like, you haven't had the goat I've had. There's some really good goat. You have to prepare it a certain way. The few times I've tried goat, it has not been good. It's been really gamey, and even more gamey than something like deer, which I do enjoy. That's actually something else I want to take on. We have deer that run through our acreage. I'd like to start hunting them. Legally, of course, but I'd like to start hunting them and dressing them on our property so we'd have deer in the freezer as well. But that's the goal. That's the big goal that I have, is 50% of our food. Maybe one day we could get even more, 75% of our food that we've grown or raised on the homestead. So everything between now and then, when we get to that goal, is sometimes it might be exciting, sometimes it might be boring. In all honesty, it might be slow too. And that leads us to the motto of this channel, slowly, slowly, which I've thought a lot about, especially given the times we're in. Should I start rushing? Should I start putting myself out there a little quicker? I don't know. I'm going to go as fast as I can go. And sometimes that's slow. I like the way that sounds. I'm going to go fast as I can go. And sometimes that will be slow. Maybe I'll switch the motto of the channel up to that. So there it is. That's my answer to that question, that query that I got in the email. I wanted to share that with you guys because I think that's not just beneficial for the person that asked that, but to you guys as an audience as well. And to those of you who are thinking about taking on the homesteading journey or self-sufficiency or growing your own food, sometimes it's good to see other people going through it, even when it's ugly and even when it's boring, because it's not always super exciting. There are homestead channels I watch where it's like a reality show and they always have really fun, cool things that are going on. And part of me is jealous for that. But then the other part of me is like, that's not my goal here. My goal is to show you guys the real thing. So I don't know if that explains my position on this in a good enough manner, but I think that's where I'm standing. So I'd just like to say to that person, I'm not going to share their email handle on this. Thank you for sending that email and asking me that. In the end, I'm very glad that you asked that, and I'm very glad that I've been able to use this as a conversation, hopefully help other people out there that are maybe thinking about jumping into this world like we've done. So in answer to, I think, the main thrust of that email, the question there, what's next? What's next is whatever we're able to fit in, and I think it'll probably be the tractor here in the next few weeks. No, it's either going to be the tractor or the meat chickens. One of those two things is going to pop up first. Lord willing, all things go well with the tractor, and we get that out here within the next few weeks. And Lord willing, all things go well with the meat chickens, and we get them processed and slaughtered in the next few weeks. That's what's next. Those are the big things. In the meantime, I still like making these videos twice a week, and there might be some smaller projects that I showcase in those videos. That's what I'm doing here. That's what this channel is all about. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for corresponding with me. All of you who have written emails to me at themodernyeoman@gmail.com, I really appreciate it. I have some really nice, robust conversations going on with several of my subscribers, and I really enjoy it. So everyone that's reached out to me via that medium or just comments, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. This was kind of just a status check on where I'm at and where I'm going to be going. Thanks for tuning in, and until I see you guys again next Wednesday for the Work With Me Wednesday episode, be well, and remember, as always, slowly, slowly.